I'm Tom Costello, and I'm privileged to be the chair of the executive committee at Post 5 in Brattleboro, Vermont. We've been very fortunate to have Attorney Tom French, who has stepped up to assist us in our care for education of veterans. And Tom, maybe we could just give a capsule as to what you're going to provide and are providing for veterans.
Yes, Tom, thank you very much. As Tom said, I'm Tom French. I'm a retired lawyer. I practiced law in Brattleboro for nearly 50 years, and it's 55 years and one day ago that I first got admitted to my first bar, which was Wisconsin. And since then, I've practiced, first of all, for nearly 5 years in the U.S. Air Force, and then I came to Brattleboro 50 years ago this week to start practicing in Brattleboro, and continued to practice. Well, I continue to practice actually to this day. I've got a few things that I'm still doing, but
Now, Tom, I'm engaged in the practice of law, and one thing I do quite a little bit is ask questions. So I thought what we do here is I'd ask you some questions, and then we'll be able to get information out. And I'm going to ask you about your background, your education, and about your work with veterans. But just give me a little idea of what you're going to be able to provide right here for veterans, and then we'll get on to that other stuff.
Okay, well, thank you, Tom. I plan on assisting veterans in their claims before the Veterans Administration, mostly at the administrative level, but these are claims for disabilities and pension benefits. And any disability will likely qualify if it is service-connected. And service-connected is sometimes not as apparent as it is. It doesn't necessarily mean that if you've got a condition right now, it may relate back to something that happened in your service.
So you, as a lawyer, are here. We are now in Post 5, and you would see veterans here who had questions about pension or VA benefits?
Yes, I would see veterans. I would assist them in formulating their claims. The Veterans Administration is a bureaucracy, and they have forms for practically everything. So that's what I would be doing. I'd be assisting them in documenting their cases.
Now, what would be the compensation that they would pay you for this service?
I am doing this pro bono, which means I am not charging a fee for my services. I will likely have to, if there are any expenses, for instance, for expert witness fees, for travel, and that sort of thing, I would expect the veteran to pay that. But in terms of compensation for me, I'm doing it pro bono.
Well, this is a terrific service for veterans to have someone of your experience to help them in this labyrinthine process, which I understand is sometimes very difficult to get through.
It is. I've got the Veterans Manual here. This is the Bible that contains theoretically every piece of information that I would need to process and successfully complete a claim. That being said, it's not entirely true. I've got one claim already, and I've had to go outside of this manual in order to get the information that I need.
Well, Tom, let's just talk a little bit now about your background so people watching this will be able to see how very fortunate we all are to have you. Tell us a little bit about your education, Tom.
Well, my undergraduate work was at the University of Michigan in economics. I graduated from the University of Wisconsin with a Bachelor of Laws in, I guess they call it Doctor of Laws now, in 1961. I immediately went into the Air Force as a judge advocate, where I was stationed in Savannah, Georgia, and Wiesbaden, Germany. When I got out of the service in late 1965, I got contacted by Osmer Fitz of Fitz and Olson of Brattleboro, and he offered to hire me. So I accepted the position with Fitz and Olson, was with them for approximately, I guess, a little over a year, from February 1, 1961 till June 1, 1962, and then I opened my own office, and I've been essentially practicing alone ever since. In terms of the work I've done, it covers the gamut of the law, ranging from collection cases to international. And I like to say I've had one piece of business from every continent except Antarctica so far. I'm waiting for the penguins to have a class action that they want me to submit.
Now, you've resided here in Brattleboro your entire professional life and raised your family here?
I did. I from 1961 forward, I've resided in this community. I've had my office here. My practice has been based here, although I say I've been privileged to have a worldwide practice.
Now the Veterans Administration Hospital, that's in White River, is it?
That's correct.
And they have an outreach down here in Brattleboro?
They do have an outreach in Brattleboro, but that's the outreach in Brattleboro is primarily a medical facility. It's White River, they have a full service facility, which includes a claims processing facility that I'd be filing. Most of the claims of any Vermont veterans would be going through the White River facility.
Can you tell us a little bit about the facility in White River?
Yes, it has a wide variety of other services, including social workers, which help veterans, and they work also with the lawyers who get together the cases. And essentially what has to happen before I'm supposed to be involved, but I'm going to be involved in that aspect of it, was that the veteran is expected to file the initial claim and tell the VA what he regards, or he or she regards the problem is. Then when that claim is denied by the reviewing officer, that's theoretically when I come in with a notice of disagreement, which goes to the Board of Veterans Appeals, although I can ask for the reviewing officer to reconsider their position if I find legal error. But I have to find legal error, which there frequently is, because these cases are often very medically complicated. And and it's very easy for the VA to make mistakes, which is frequently done. There are literally hundreds of lawyers who do veterans cases, although not that many in Vermont.
So you would help a veteran file the initial paperwork, and then is it rather common that initial filing would be rejected?
It is almost always initially rejected.
And then there's an appeal, and at that point you would have an opportunity to present your case before judges who would look at things?
Yes, these are actually in-service VA officers through the Board of Veterans Appeals. I don't think that they judge these cases, but they're not the judges in the traditional sense of the word.
Now, as I understand, there are quite a lot of things coming up these days which are health-related and are service-related, which we didn't know about back in the day.
That's correct. And that's principally what I'm going to be doing. There are such things, for example, as a wide variety, hundreds of diseases can be caused by Agent Orange. And, ranging from diabetes to cancer to heart conditions to post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. And sometimes these problems don't manifest themselves for many years subsequent to service. But if you have certain types of diabetes, heart conditions, cancers, and other such things, there's a presumption that they're service connected if you have had, quote, boots on the ground in Vietnam. Another area where they just recently that they've established a series of presumptive conditions are anybody who's been a Marine stationed at Camp Lejeune between 1957 and I think it's 1988. I don't remember the exact dates. But if you have, the water was contaminated at Camp Lejeune during that period of time. So if you spent more than 30 days at Camp Lejeune and come up with, have one of these illnesses, maybe many years after you've been discharged from the service, there is a presumption that this was caused by the water at Camp Lejeune, and there are other such presumptions too in other cases that relate to the Persian Gulf War and the war in Afghanistan.
Well, it's a wonderful thing you're doing, Tom, and I think many veterans are reluctant to pursue claims which they're truly entitled to for themselves and for their families. And this is a great opportunity for veterans in the Brattleboro area to have the services of a great lawyer to help them through this process. And how would they get a hold of you, Tom, and how would that work?
Normally, I have hours every Thursday. I've got a card, and my card gives them the telephone number. It's 802-254-8155, which is my old office number. And I'm generally here Thursday afternoons from 11 to 12 and 1:30 to 2:30 here at the Brattleboro Post 5 American Legion. I will be available on call at almost any time that we can have mutual convenience, and I would propose that we would meet here or some other place. I'd be willing to go to some place at the veterans' convenience if somebody is disabled, for instance, and can't come to the Legion here.
What's your phone number, Tom?
802-254-8155.
And that's Tom French's number, and there'll be a service there, a recording if Tom's not available. And in addition, you can call and leave a message at the American Legion. The number here is 257-1872, and this person here will pass that message along to Tom French. Now, in addition to the disabilities, you also are going to get engaged in difficulties about pensions.
Yes. And again, I'm less familiar with the pension process, although it's all set forth in the Veterans Benefits Manual. But essentially, the veteran has to have virtually no income in order to qualify for a pension. But if he doesn't have an income and I think it's less than $1,500 a month or some figure like that. But if you can get a pension, no matter, provided you have been in service for more than 30 days.
So this again is a great opportunity for veterans to get what they're entitled to.
It's absolutely a great idea, and the veterans don't realize how many benefits they may be entitled to, and it would pay just to have somebody like myself check it out if you have any questions and about the kinds of benefits that you think you may be entitled to. I can't say that I know everything about it, but I'm willing to learn about it.
I've known Tom French for a long time. He's a great lawyer, and he's a most sincere and genuine person.
Well, thank you, Tom.
And we're just thrilled to have you here. The number for Tom is 257-1872, and it's just a phone call. And Tom, very patient. You sit down, you listen to you, and there may be you don't have, but maybe you do. And it'd be great for yourself and for your families to see what benefits you have. And the number at the Legion is 254-8155.
Oh, that's my number.
Oh, excuse me. That's your number. And the number at the Legion is 257-1872. That's the American Legion number. So either number, call and make an appointment. And Tom, we're so grateful for your volunteering, coming in and using our great facilities. It's what makes us who we are. And, we provide the roof. We provide great guys like Russ Grabiak to have the expertise to do things like this. But you're the guy that delivers the goods. And thanks a lot.
Well, I hope I am able to deliver the goods.
Oh, you certainly are. You just got to get those calls coming into Tommy at 254-8155 or here at the Legion 257-1872. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay.
So we didn't talk about Katlyn Atwood.
Right.
Let's talk about Katlyn.
Katlyn is working with the Vermont's Veterans Project. I don't know the official name of it, but That's what it is, and essentially, what this is developed by Vermont Bar Association and the Vermont Law School, and it's doing the same kind of work that I am doing with the veterans. She's also doing it at no cost to the veterans, and this program has now been established for probably a year or so. And there are a number of veterans that are getting the benefits of that program as it exists right now. And I'm working together with Katlyn, and Katlyn, I'm a member of her team, which consists of other lawyers who are working in the area of veterans benefits law.
Katlyn's a great young lawyer, has an office up in Royalton, and she'll profit greatly from your experience, Tom. Katlyn's going to be down here on the 18th of February. That's a Thursday night at 6 o'clock, and she'll be able, with Tom, to give a presentation. And we'd like to invite all veterans, families, and others interested to come out here at the Legion on Linden Street on February 18th at 6 o'clock.
Right.
Thank you very much, Tom.
Thank
We
you,
look forward
Tom.
to everyone coming out and calling Tom. Thank you very much.
Thank you.